Hello, beautiful people in Radio Land. You are listening to myself, Flavius S. Mercurius, in what would usually just be amusing ourselves, broadcasting through the facilities of Trent Radio, 92.7 Triple F FM. And you kind of are listening to that this week, although there's a slight variation in that I am combining my show with my co-host, whose show normally follows immediately after mine, into one mega show. And that co-host is Miranda Rigby. I'm using your real name because you use it. And that show is Under My Blanket. So what you're really listening to this week in a special super episode is Amusing Ourselves Under My Blanket. And thank you for helping me achieve this.
Yeah,
Miranda.
Thank you for pulling me out of the funk that was last week. It was kind of a rough one, and it's nice to be able to do stuff together, because that's the thing we're missing right now in the COVID times. So
yeah.
And you guys, you and Brooke last week were talking about Board Game Arena, which was really you didn't end up getting to it though. You didn't actually end up getting to play any games.
No, we had a game poised to go in case things wore thin. She was actually super anxious and nervous about being on the radio. So I kind of, to assuage her fears, I just said, okay, I'll just get this ready in case, suddenly we get several continuous seconds of dead air, and then we can just totally, as a non sequitur, launch into a board game. But that didn't happen.
And have no ability to talk to each other. We have at least this thing that we can do whilst we're on the show, which I get.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
So as Flavius has mentioned already, this is Amusing Ourselves Under My Blanket with Friends. This week we did a really exciting thing, and we invited 2 more guest stars. So this is a jam-packed hour-long episode.
Wow.
Yeah. Those guest stars were my partner, who you've already heard once on my show if you've been listening every week, Janahan, and a friend of ours named Shannon, who had been playing with Board Game Arena even before we had started, apparently.
Yeah, I think she even signed up a few days before I did, and then when we found out that we'd all actually been using it, she had all these awards and experience points and stuff, and had played tons of games and knew all the rules to the games that we usually play. So that was very convenient.
And the game that we're doing this week was actually at her suggestion because she had looked it up. And the game that we decided to play was one called Tokaido.
Which coincidentally was the game that Brooke and I would have played last week.
Huh. I didn't even... I missed the first little bit of your episode, to be honest, and I didn't know that, so that's cool.
I don't think we mentioned it, but we chose that because I met Brooke in Japan, and she lived there for twice as long as I did overall, so we thought that would be a nice kind of topical choice for game.
Yeah, that makes sense. Though I think it would have been a lot harder for you to do in half an hour.
Yes, and with one person, because it's not a 2-person game.
No. So let's go into, because we have a limited time at the hop here, let's go into a general synopsis of what Tokaido is. Do you want to take the lead on that one?
Do you mean the Tokaido, the board game, or Tokaido, the real thing? Because it is a real thing.
Start with the real thing, and then get into the board game.
Okay. Well, I can talk a bit about it, or I can just read the words that are included in the board game. Which one do you think is better?
Well, we got 3 minutes, so you figure it out.
All right, so a few words about Japan. Tokaido, the road, which dates back to the 11th century, connects the 2 most important cities in Japan, Edo, today called Tokyo, and Kyoto. It is a 500 and how many? That's actually not accurate. 514 was that?
500
a little more than.
And 14 kilometer. You're 100% correct.
Bingo. 514K road that follows the southern coast of the biggest island in the Japanese archipelago. I'm pronouncing that right?
Yeah.
Okay, Honshu. Travelers in the 17th century took approximately 2 weeks to complete the route, usually on foot, sometimes on horseback, and more rarely in litters? What is a litter? Like a litter of kittens or dogs? I don't know. Anyway, there were 53 stages to the route. which we just learned correspond to the 53 bodhisattvas of something or other. And the number of inns were located along the road where travelers could rest and stock up on supplies. The road and inns inspired a number of artists, among them the famous Hiroshige, who produced a series of woodcut prints called the Tokaido Goju-san Tsugi no Uchi, which translates to the 53 stations of the Tokaido.
Wow.
So that's the actual Tokaido, and this game is based on that. So
yeah. So basically what happens is we take a journey from one part of Japan to the other part of Japan. And you're on this like long line of a board. It's a really pretty game board, would you say?
Yeah, it's quite nice, and it fairly accurately depicts like what a map of the Tokaido would look like.
Yeah, and so you're stopping at these different spots, and some of those spots have like one spot for one person, and some have two for two people. And so as you go along in the game, you are selecting which spots you want to visit, and you get a benefit for essentially getting as many experiences as possible. And these experience points at the end of the game come up as these little bindles or hobo bags. We figured out they're called bindles.
Yes, I remember that somehow.
And so all these little hobo bags will come shooting out of the screen and tell you, screen because we're playing Board Game Arena.
Yes.
And they'll tell you exactly how many points you get at the end of the game. And so we played this game with our friends and we recorded it. And as we went along, we kind of explained the different types of things that you can visit as we went. Do you think there's anything else that we need to say before we start this recording?
Nothing I can think of off the top of my head. Yeah, as you just mentioned, there's a lot that we kind of explained in real time. So if there's anything we missed, maybe we can just cover it at the end.
Yeah, I definitely agree. All right, so I am going to start the clip. So enjoy.
Boom.
Okay, so we are live now, and we are joined by Janan.
Hey.
And Shannon.
Hi.
And obviously Miranda.
And obviously Flavius.
And obviously Flavius. Okay, we are being redirected to the game table.
So right now everybody sees two different characters that they're allowed to choose from. So in this game, you've got two different people at the beginning, but you just choose one of them, and they all have their own specific skills and also dollar value of like how much money you start the game with, which can be pretty important if there's multiple people playing a game.
Yep. It appears to be my turn first, so I have to tell you who we got first if we want to talk about these folks.
Sure. I'm going to think for a second and figure out what I want.
Okay.
Because it's hard to read and talk at the same time.
It is hard.
And I don't want to read mine ahead of time.
Yeah, both of my folks are high rollers.
Oh man. Both of mine have to do with souvenirs, which is annoying. That means I have to get to specific things. Yeah.
I think I know who I want.
Huh.
Oh wait, no, that's not the same thing that I thought it was.
Or is it?
No. It ain't. Okay, I want this one. I want this guy.
Nice.
Sweet.
So now that we're in the game and Flavius has to do the first turn, I'm going to take this time to read through the characters. And Flavius, can you do me a favor, considering that you speak some Japanese, and actually say their real names? Because
I can.
Butcher them probably
Okay.
real bad.
Yeah, that's
Let's
all
start
right.
with your character. Your character is who? What's the name?
Hirotada.
Oh, God. Okay.
Full on
So
accent.
Hirotada starts the game with 8 coins, and it's an old man with a sword, and his skill is that you add 1 coin from the reserve to your temple offering, so you get more money when you go to temple, and score 1 point extra for this coin. That's nice.
Yeah, and I think I'm gonna start the game off by stopping at the temple.
There you go.
Holy.
Yeah. So, seeing as I am a rich, here's another one. No, we're good. Seeing as I'm a rich priest or something,
All right.
I am gonna throw 3 coins at the temple, which is gonna be 4 overall because I own God with money.
Well, dang.
What?
Yep.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
You own God with money?
Yeah. That's how it works, right?
So my character's name is what? You want to try that one?
Sasayako.
Sasayako. And I start the game with 5 coins. And my my thing is if I go and I buy a souvenir, I can get one for free. It's buy one, get one.
And unsurprisingly, you have just stopped at the souvenir shop.
So that I can buy one and get one. So I am going to buy. So I've purchased 2 things now that I've gone there. And those 2 things are a food and drink souvenir and an art souvenir. And I'm supposed to be collecting one of each type. Is that correct, Flavius, would you say?
Yeah, you get 1 point for the first souvenir of any type, and then if you get a second souvenir of a different type, the second one is worth 3 as opposed to 1, which it would be worth if you bought one of the same type. And then that jumps up to, I think, 5 and 7 if you have 1 from each 4 category.
So the next one is Yoshiyasu, which is who Shannon's playing.
Yes.
Starts the game with a mad amount of coin. 9 coin.
Damn.
So yours is specifically enacted when you go to the encounter card. So you get 2 encounter cards at each encounter, and then you can keep one of the 2 encounters.
Ooh,
which
you
is
get a
actually a pretty good
choice.
skill.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
usually you just get whoever and that's it.
And that's what I'm going to do right now.
Ooh.
Now, yellowish things must choose an
Ooh.
encounter. Who wants to
Yellow
encounter you?
strings. You've chosen. Ooh.
Who is that?
Shokunin.
This is me?
Traveling merchant, so I got to pick a souvenir card.
Ah.
Exciting.
Oh, it looks like Janahan has already had the turn happen. That was fast. Okay.
So Janahan is playing Umege? Is that how you would say that?
Who am I?
Flavius.
Umegae.
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 Omega. I am Omega, the street entertainer.
You're a bard.
Ooh. Aw.
Oh.
So you get 1 point and 1 coin.
No, I'm sorry.
Let me actually explain who you are
And also what you did on your turn.
and what you did in your turn during my turn. So I have to think real fast when I'm done.
Oh my God.
So your character has 5 coins to start, and you get 1 point and 1 coin for each encounter. So there's a couple of people here that are going to be seeking encounters. So
we all?
that's going to be challenge.
Also, Umegae is like a fox mask wearing what looks to be a lady anyway.
How dare you?
Also, Janananan spent the turn stopping at a panorama space,
Oh yes,
which
and
is
collected
the
the first-
field.
one, yeah.
Yeah, so
And then
panoramas.
sorry, go ahead. You explain it.
All right, the panoramas are there's 3 different types of panorama spaces, and they award points based on each individual tile of the panorama, and as well as having a bonus for completing any panorama. The first one, which Janananan has stopped at, is the field or the rice paddies or whatever. And there's a total of 3 panorama cards, meaning you have to stop at 3 different panorama spaces to get each one. And each card is worth 1 more point than the last. So the first one always being worth 1, and then 2, and then 3. And then the mountain one is 4, and then the ocean is 5, I think. Those are the
the
orders.
ocean. Yeah.
Yes.
And then in my turn, because I was the shortest travel the first round, this game has a really interesting dynamic where the last person is always the one to go on the next turn. So I was able to jump to the hot spring, and I actually got to see the one thing that got me extra points, which is a monkey in the hot spring, which happens
monkeys.
on occasion.
Yeah.
It's the monkeys.
Yeah. Let's see.
So where are you gonna go?
Yeah, it's my turn. I didn't explain actually the point of going to the temple. When you go to the temple, you have the option of paying 1, 2, or 3 coins, and you get that number of points straight up. So being a priestly man that I apparently am, I get the bonus for donating any amount of coins. So when I gave 3 coins, I got 4 points. So there's not another temple again for a while. However, there is another space in that hot spring tub, so I think I'm gonna jump in with you. Shannon sounds unhappy.
Shannon wanted to see those monkeys.
And I saw them, I'm sorry. They're still there.
I just wanted to go twice in a row, really.
It is a luxury to be able to do that. It's pretty unique that, like, I don't know a lot of games where you can do that.
Yeah, where you can be like moving a little. It's really smart because it's like this game is mostly meant to be like a journey, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so it makes sense that the more you stop, the more things you get to see.
Yeah.
But it takes longer.
Yeah, if you blast ahead right to the end, then you're gonna eat and go to bed, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Goes to
Shannon decided to jump to the Mountain Panorama. And so now Shanahan and Shannon both have 1 view. And so they're both aiming to get, I assume, to complete that panorama.
Mm-hmm.
I was trying to find that word, but it was definitely right there.
Oh, Shanahan goes to
The farm.
and gets 3
Why'd
coins.
you choose the farm?
I'm a farmer.
That's pretty legit.
No, for the gold.
Can't argue with that logic.
When you go to the farm, you get how many gold, Jan? How many did you just get?
3, I think.
Yeah,
Nice.
it is 3. Let's see.
Yeah, nice
Where
try
will I
it.
go? I have joined you at the farm, by the way, Jen.
No, that's what I needed. Look at me, I'm poor. I only have 2 coins.
Peasant.
That's the life of. Actually, no, you look like a rich person. Like your character graphic, she looks like aristocracy.
She looks like she should have money. Why
Yeah.
doesn't she have money?
Started off with 5.
Well, she's a geisha,
She's a
yeah,
sh-
man. Geisha should be rich.
Yeah,
Oh.
well, I'm obviously not a good geisha, so
Brand new.
just too new.
Oh, Mercaboom is vying now for the Mountain Panorama as well, and gets another turn.
Yeah, not like I can do very much. I mean, I can go to the temple, but I have 2 coins.
You can go
I can
shopping.
go to. I guess no, because I only have 2 coins.
Is there not stuff for 1 or 2 coins ever?
There is, yeah.
but I don't want to waste my money before I go to the inn.
True.
You get the cheapest one for free, though.
Yeah, but if there's 2 things and one of them is 3 coins and one of them is 2 coins, it's still not going to work.
Oh, right. Yeah, that's the Sayako's power or ability or whatever.
So I decided to go see the clean monkey, Saru, and then he gave me another monkey at a hot spring.
Oh man, amazing.
Yeah, I'm really upset about that.
Shannon's getting pretty irate about these other cards going around. These other hot spring
Well,
cards.
I think it's because we've got 2 people that want these encounters.
Oh, that's right.
The encounter, but you know
Jen.
what? Y'all stole my gold, so
Take your gold.
it's true.
Yeah,
You
that was
can take my
me.
gold,
That was me
so
and Jan.
That's true.
Jananan.
Janani.
Oh, something has been purchased.
I have purchased an art souvenir and some food and drink.
Ooh.
Exciting.
All right, I must travel. Well, I don't think there's anywhere to go except for the temple. And let's throw some coins at that temple. Cha-ching.
What you gonna do, Jan?
To the ocean.
Decided to go to an ocean panorama.
Yeah. Or the sea, I guess, is more accurate. That's what the card says anyway. It's actually not the ocean.
But is there? I don't. Okay.
There is a difference, and it's like seas can be like, obviously all water is the same water in real life, but like seas are kind of inland. Like there's land on both sides of the sea, making it somewhat like encapsulated, back in the day when you couldn't fly or move really fast.
Right.
So I actually
So
don't.
sea is like a small ocean, basically. Is what you're
Yeah,
saying.
pretty much. That's pretty much what it is. I'm
Okay.
trying to think of like what body of water we would actually be seeing if we were actually on the map, and I don't know what that is. I know there's a sea in Japan, but it's like not on this this historical route. I think it like actually is the ocean. If this was really where we were.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
Where will I
So
go?
now that where are you going to go from the temple after you've washed your sins, so to speak?
Well, I mean, there's no option to have an encounter, so I won't be getting re-sinified anyway.
Embrace the sin.
Let's just keep it clean at the hot springs.
Snap.
And there are more monkeys. Sorry, Shannon.
Stealing all those
Shaking my
monkeys.
fist at you.
I decided to jump to the inn because I was afraid that I would not get those points. And so I'm going to buy the cheapest thing, which is rice balls on these like little seaweed majiggies.
Yep. Yeah, so now we have reached the first inn of, I think, 4, excluding the first one. And these are the kind of the marker points at which we all have to stop and catch up with each other. You could, if you wanted, you could go straight from the first inn to the second inn and go into inn only, but you would not win the game at all. And you wouldn't have very much fun either. And when you stop at the inn, you have an option of buying a meal card, and all meal cards, regardless of their monetary value, are worth 6 points. However, I did just remember, and I always forget this, that there's a bonus card at the end, which is awarded to the person who spent the most money on food. So there actually is a point in spending more if you can afford it.
Money.
Yeah.
Yes, I always forget. I remember the other bonus cards, which are things like whoever had the most encounters and spent the... Is it spent the most on souvenirs or bought the most souvenirs?
I think it's bought the most souvenirs, but I don't
Okay.
know.
All right, so I got, well, in real life, I don't eat meat, but I'm going to, wait, actually, hold on. Do I want to do that? Yeah, buy the cheap one.
I gotta say, Janahan and Flavius have like 3 cards, and Shannon and I are kind of cleaning up right now by this first inn. I'm just letting you know.
You
This
do,
is
however,
beating you.
at least in my case, I have 8 points already. No, 20.
So do I.
True.
That's true.
It's true.
Oh, right. But I see what you were saying.
Yeah, my points are not in my cards, which is usually how I play. I usually don't pick the priest. But now that we have decided to walk the path of the kami and go back to the temple
Path of
again.
what?
The path, kami means like gods in Japanese.
Yeah.
Let's see. 2.
I'm gonna jump ahead to the farm and get me some coins.
Surprised you didn't go to the hot springs.
I actually wanted to go to the hot springs because I would have been the person who got to go first because I would have been last.
Yeah. Also, you would have had to miss an encounter if you'd done that, so that would not have been fun. All right. Well, now we're suddenly playing at breakneck speed. A bunch of things have happened. And now it's my turn again all of a sudden. Holy crap.
let me explain what's going on. So,
Not obvious.
Shannon, let me explain. Farm is me and Shannon. Janahan is currently sitting in a field and whispering.
Second of 3,
in a
yes.
field.
Farmer Jam, rice paddy fields.
Okay, where do I want to go? I haven't started any panoramas yet. My options are panorama, or whatever's beyond that.
I'm just glad that I got money at the farm.
I think I'm gonna try something new. I'm gonna spread the word of God to some random strangers. And it was another who even was this guy? I think he was like a nobleman. Yeah, Kuge, the nobleman, who gives me 3 monies.
That's nice of him to give me monies.
Yeah.
Especially since that would have been beneficial. But if I was to go to the encounter right now, it wouldn't be the same guy, right? It's a different card every time.
Yeah, that's right. I think like if we were playing this in real life, it'd be a deck and you just draw whoever's on the top. Also, I just noticed. Oh.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I just noticed looking again at my own character card that what he's holding is not a sword, as Miranda had mentioned. It's actually like, I mean, I don't know what it actually is called in either English or Japanese, but it's basically like a god stick. Like Shinto priests hold this thing and they like shake it around and wave it over babies and stuff. I've seen it in real life. It's pretty trippy.
Shannon's got a sword though.
Oh, that's
Janet-
not what I wanted
Janet has-
to do. Dang it!
Oh no!
Oh no!
What happened?
I scrolled my screen to see how many more mountain passes there were, and if I could.
Your voice is cutting out.
Something is wrong with Shannon's microphone.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
I had scrolled my screen over,
No.
Oh.
and when I went to
It
scroll
cuts
back,
out.
there's a character there.
We hear you, and then we don't hear you, and then we hear you again.
I just take my headphones out.
That also works.
I wanted to go to the encounter, and it randomly selected the mountain pass, and now I'm here.
Oh, we heard that perfectly.
Yes.
We got it. Well, that's fine
That's
because
annoying.
you'll still get the chance in theory, but still, Janahan might have that chance before you, so that does suck.
Yeah.
Janahan, decide what you must do.
Yep, there you go.
Betrayal.
Wow.
Janahan has jumped to the encounter.
Who is doesn't even necessarily benefit more than usual from the encounters.
It's fine. Now I'm just going to get the mountain pass panorama.
Oh wait, no, I'm wrong. Janahan is
Jan-
the benefit from the encounters. For some reason, I thought it was Miranda and Shannon that had those characters.
Or I could go to the hot spring. Do I see
Oh.
some monkeys? I do not.
No, sad. No monkeys.
No monkeys today. I could go to the temple and mess with Flavy, but
Hey now.
Hey
I'm not
now.
gonna do it. I've already started the Mountain Panorama, and Shannon's gonna beat me if I don't continue, so I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna go see mountains.
Ooh, now it's once again the turn of Janahan 90210.
Yeah, that's my nickname.
Alter ego.
I've never seen the show.
don't even understand what it is.
Just making references to make them.
It's just something it's a number that has always existed in like reference to stuff and just popped into my head and brain there.
Yeah, that's fair.
In the early parts of the internet, I would use that as a zip code when I needed to.
Back when you could get away with such things. All right, so I'm, of course, going to stop and pray for good things to happen. And it's my turn again, so I'm going to get back that money at the farm.
What?
So now I can still afford to eat. What a day.
Congratulations. Well,
Souvenir shop.
Oh.
damn it.
Bye.
I'm going to buy some clothes to complete my set.
Oh, is that all four?
Yep.
Snap.
That's some lucky purchasing.
Amazing. And one coin, 2 coins, and 2 coins. That's amazing.
Well, one of them I got for free for my encounter.
That's true. Didn't pay nothing for that.
I'm going to go to the sea because I just don't want to be the first one to get to the... Well, I'm going to be the first one to get to the...
It's your turn again, and there ain't no more space.
Snap. Well, I can't buy the same nigiri meshi. Oh, that was horrible. I did not do that well. I'm sorry.
Close
I'm
enough.
going to choose either tofu or tempura for the same price. What should I buy?
I would go for
Tofu.
the tofu, yep.
Alright.
Keep the vegetarian meals going.
Yeah, I'm going to eat just exclusively white foods.
If you can't, I mean, that's an expression of eat the rich, right? I mean, is that too obfuscated? There are too many layers to that.
There might be too many
Yeah.
layers to that
Yeah.
one.
Janahan just bought some fugu, or was that udon?
Udon.
Bought the
Fugu?
fugu. Fugu was the first, Ian?
No, this fugu is what I just bought.
Oh, okay. You're buying the expensive noshables,
Buy expensive now and then get cheap later.
even though in real life udon is a dirt cheap. Fugu is actually crazy expensive.
That makes sense, considering the picture. Not that I've ever had it, but it looks like a similar thing that I've had.
It's like, fugu is blowfish.
Oh,
Yeah.
like the Simpsons episode.
Yeah, like the stuff that can poison you. And apparently I heard when I was in Japan, apparently you can like go to places that will cut the fish so that it does contain a small amount of poison, which like gives you a jolt or something.
That's crazy.
One of my students told me that and I thought, wow, that's terrifying. I never would try that even if I ate meat.